Bias is, we are going to talk about how documentaries use camera techniques and editing after filming to make something more biased. So if you know these techniques, you're going to be able to better understand whether or not you should believe the claim of a documentary. So first off, let's watch this documentary trailer. This documentary is called The Keepers. It's from Netflix. The claim of this documentary, it's about a nun who was murdered in the 50s, 60s, I want to say. And it's about how the Catholic school that she worked at, a lot of priests abused many of the students. The church there ignored the abuse, and that she, the nun, was murdered because she wanted to tell the police what was happening. So let's watch this clip.
Baltimore has always been a quintessentially Catholic city.
The priests were the authority. Whatever they told you to do, you did.
The city has its level of corruption. Sister Kathy exemplified this spirit of compassion and kindness.
I have never had a teacher like that before. She was murdered our senior year, and it's always haunted many people in the community.
Our mission, we were driven to find out who hurt Sister Kathy.
People pop up from 45, 50 years ago who say, I have a story I'd like to tell you.
I believe Kathy Sesnick was killed because she was going to talk about what went on at Keough.
There's an on-the-record public story of what happened to Sister Kathy, and then there's the world beneath.
The police department and the state could provide protection for the priests.
There were other people brought in, local business owners, politicians that were part of this network.
I can testify that over 100 victims have been abused.
Time is getting short for us to be able to figure out what happened to Kathy.
My father said to my mother, you want to know why I drink? Because we killed a woman and we put her behind the shop.
He said, see what happens when you say bad things about people?
This goes bigger and deeper than we can imagine. The story is not the nun's killing. The story is the cover-up of the nun's story.
Okay, so let's look at how the editing and camera work made bias in this documentary. So the first type of camera work is lighting. So we talked about how in documentaries, they choose lighting a lot of the time, just like they're doing a movie. And so if they're having bright lights on a character or a subject, it makes something seem more positive. It can make something seem innocent and less threatening. So for example, these two characters here, they're the former students trying to find out the truth, right? The filmmakers want us to feel positive towards them and want us to feel like these people are innocent and know the truth, right? So they used bright lights on them. So that is their bias, using bright lights. Dark lights, on the other hand, make something seem negative, can make people feel guilty or look guilty or shady and threatening and scary. So this is a priest that's representing the school in this case in the documentary. And so they have really dark lighting on this character here to make us feel negative about this person and maybe make them a little more guilty than what they necessarily are. So that's the bias as well. The next thing that filmmakers do is use camera angles and shots. So we're going to talk about two types of shots and two camera angles. So the first one is high angle and low angle, that first pair. So a high angle shot is when a camera is up high. Think about it that way. A high angle shot, camera's up high. The camera's above the subject looking down, and it can make the subject look weak or frightened. This is a picture of the town. We're supposed to feel like the town didn't have any power. The church was the ones that had all the power, and the people that lived there were really weak and they were frightened. So that's making us feel bad for the people in the town. So that's a bias. Low angle, on the other hand, is when the camera is low, looking up at something. And so it can make subjects look dominant, like they have lots of power, or aggressive, or ominous, like scary. And so this is a picture of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So the FBI in Baltimore, and in the documentary, we're supposed to feel negative about them because the documentary people, their bias is that the investigation was screwed up, and that the FBI just kind of told people what to do and didn't listen to all these little weak people here. So the FBI is meant to look like they're scary. So that's some bias right there too. So we got high angle where the camera's high, low angle where the camera's low. The next are shots. So we have a close-up and a long shot. Close-ups focus really close, right, on a person, and it makes the audience feel connected to that person or that subject, or only focus on that person or the subject. And it can have a couple different biases. The first one, it can make us feel empathy for that subject. It can make us feel bad for them, make us feel close to them, make us believe them more. So this is a person who thinks the nun was murdered. Oops, sorry. Who thinks the nun was murdered, and we're supposed to want to believe her, and so that's the bias. It can also make us look a little more closely at someone. They don't have an example in here, but you can find examples of that where they'll do a close-up on someone, and we're supposed to think somebody maybe looks a little creepy. Another shot is a long shot. A long shot is where the camera is a long way away and somebody's surrounded by something else, like a landscape. So this guy's surrounded by the forest. It makes the subject seem less important and lonely. So that's some bias. This guy is a family member of Sister Cathy, and he's out where they found her dead. And so the filmmakers want us to feel really bad for him. So that's bias as well. So music and sound effects also are used to give us a specific emotion, and a lot of the times I don't think we even notice. In that trailer that we watched about the nun, there was a lot of scary music or a lot of tension music, so it was making us feel scared of the people that they were showing on the screen with the scary music, and making us feel a lot of tension. Look at this. This is just think of this movie with the music, and then this is the music, or the movie without the music. Right? How weird is that? In the real movie, they have this like really dramatic music where it's supposed to be really dramatic with these people flying into the dinosaurs. So music that they put on afterwards with editing really is a form of bias as well.